Hi everyone, welcome to this mentorship wrap-up session. Today we're going to be talking about the software projects Atom, Software Discovery Tool, and Polycephaly. My name is Elizabeth K. Joseph and I work as a developer advocate at IBM, and I was one of the mentors in this program for this season. Like many of the mentors that participated this time around, it was my first time being a mentor in this program, so it was a really interesting opportunity, and I will say it was a fantastic experience. It was really nice to connect with the students who I was working with. We worked on developing their open source skills across the board, so not only the technical skills, we learned about working with Git submodules, flexed our Python muscles, but there was also a social aspect to it. So introducing the students to people inside the mainframe world was really exciting. I was able to connect them with folks inside of IBM, other folks as part of the Open Mainframe project, and really all over the open source community in the mainframe space. We also reached out to Linux distributions, so my hope is that they made some really good contacts there in their work. Plus, they knocked out some really great work. The students that I worked with not only hit all of the key points that we defined in our project, but they also hit a bunch of our stretch goals, which was really exciting to see. I'm totally going to miss working with them, but I have a feeling that we're going to cross paths again in the future. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to our fabulous students who are going to share their experiences working on Atom, the software discovery tool, and Polycephaly.
Hey everyone, welcome to this session of Atom Syntax Highlighting. Over the next 5 minutes, I will explain you about how the project was carried out over this summer and how you could make your own syntax highlighters. This project was mentored by Walter Church. He is the advisory software engineer at IBM since 2015. I, Krushnal, was the mentee for the project. I am a third-year computer engineering undergraduate from Delhi Technological University. The project was aimed to update syntax highlighters by adding support for macro statements, variables, and snippets. Over the summer, I finished highlighting 4 different languages using TextMate and added support for snippets. So how is syntax highlighting done in Atom? Before answering the question, let me explain a bit about how Atom adds syntax highlighting. Atom, like any other code editor, uses color to highlight code. It does so by using developer-made extensions that detect the type of highlighting required. Atom syntaxes are built on TextMate. TextMate is general-purpose GUI text editor for macOS. Current syntax highlighters in Atom depend on TextMate for capturing groups and categorizing them. Now the main file that handles highlighting is written in CSON format and has these major parts. Over the next few slides, I will explain these parts with examples. Coming to metadata. This holds key information about the highlighter. It mainly consists of scope name, and file types. Scope name is the unique name for the grammar following a convention of being dot-separated name where the right part specializes in language name. Here, the language we are referring to is Rex. Name attribute consists of name of the language. File types is an array of file type extension that the grammar should by default be used with. Here, if we open any file with Rex, exec, exec2 or vmdt extension, the syntax highlighter will automatically be triggered. Pattern is an array of actual rules used to parse the document. In this example, we are specifying 4 rules: comment rule, number rule, label rule, and parentheses rule. Repository is a dictionary of rules which can be included from other places in the grammar. The key is the name of the rule and the value is the match attribute. Regular expressions are used in the match attribute to capture a syntax that is then highlighted by referring the type of syntax in the name attribute. So after listing out all the necessary rules and reopening the code editor, you can have this as the output on your screen. As I mentioned, over the summer, I worked on 4 languages. You can see the changes I obtained on the code after adding the syntax highlighters. Atom is planning to deprecate TextMate in near future. Additionally, highlighting in TextMate can sometimes be tricky. Alternatively, we could use TreeSitter, a generated tool that is an incremental parsing library. It helps build robust syntax tree for a source file. Approaching to the end of the presentation, I would like to thank Walter for all his help over the summer and for helping me whenever I got stuck somewhere. Also, I would like to thank Open Mainframe Project for giving me this great opportunity and a chance to speak at this summit. If you liked my project and want to connect with me, you could ping me at these given social media handles. Thank you, audience.
Hello everyone, this is Divya Goswami. I am a CS undergrad student and one of the most fortunate ones who got to work with the Open Mainframe project as a part of my summer mentorship. During my project period, software discovery tool has changed to a complete new face and power. Before I started, it was just a clone of IBMZ's package distro search tool. It did not have a logo to begin with. It did not have any data to work on, and I had to face a lot of errors during unit testing before I began revamping. So, my contributions. By the end of August, I was very pleased to give my part, adding a lot of changes I never expected I'd bring. The tool now has an interface with its own logo displayed on the top. The FAQ sections are also updated, which was previously made only for PDS. The most memorable times I have spent was when I wrote long night-long codes to build package data for these distributions that support S390X architecture. As a student who wants to work with automation in future, I have done my best to reduce manual updating of the data sources. My scripts written are capable of pulling data from PDS, updating the ones made by me as part of Open Mainframe project, updating the old config file to load new data sources and restart the server. This was the biggest accomplishment during my period. SDT can now handle the whole importing and deployment on its own just by my scripts. All it needs is a server with the necessary permissions. Key learning and favorite parts. It was a wonderful journey. I never explored Git as much as I did during this mentorship. I have learned the power of automation. I see it as an absolute necessity to reduce manual work where you can. Also, with this, I had the chance to talk to so many people in the open source world. My mentor being a member from IBM-Z, mentors of ClipOS, and open source Z packages. I now have this broad spectrum of people from the mainframe world. I believe I can stay in touch even after my mentorship. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Welcome to our project presentation. A little bit about myself. My name is Indranil Mandal. I am a final year undergraduate at IIT Kanpur. So a brief description of my journey. When I joined the mentorship, SDT was the raw fork of the PDS repo. So the initial tasks included renaming and updating the installation documents. Some of the installation steps from PDS were broken or missing, so we had to work on that too. The next step was to test and fix the APIs. Here, some minor fixes were done to make sure we could query the JSON files. Another major step of this project was to add the ZOS data. This data had been collected over time by a member of the team, Javier Perez. We refined the data to JSON format, and this was the first milestone of our project. After this, we added the description column to the tool, along with a checkbox to toggle it on and off. After this, we added the references to the footer to link it to the OMP page and the GitHub repo. After this, we updated the FAQs to list the OSs that we support and some links where to find these packages. Moving on to the next slide, my takeaways and learnings. I learned a lot about the version control system GitHub and its utilities such as GitHub Actions and Git submodules. I also learned about various packages available for ZOS and their uses in the process of adding the data. Also, I learned about frameworks like Apache, Flask, and the use of WSI scripts since SDT uses them. The best part was interaction with various members of the IBM-Z community, including my mentor Elizabeth, who guided us a lot in our mentorship. Coming to the end of the presentation, SDT's list of packages on ZOS is not exhaustive. so it needs to be updated with packages that the open source community might be working on. Hence, we have put up this blog asking members to contribute to the list. Welcome to the working demo of the tool. It is presently deployed in a test server. At first, we select the operating system we wish to search the package for. Here, we can select individual operating systems or all of them. Next, we enter the search pattern. Let's say we want to search for Docker. Here, we have two options. We can ask for an exact search, that is, the package name will match the search keyword exactly. Or, we can use search button for a more flexible search. The search results are displayed. Then, we have the description column, which is hidden by default. We can toggle it on and off. We can further refine our search by entering specific package name or version. For example, if we want version 188, we get the corresponding result. We can also filter the distribution. For example, if we untick Debian 10, the packages from Debian 10 will not be displayed. Finally, we also have a FAQ page which covers most aspects of SDT, such as what the tool is, the search options, and the links to the OMP webpage.
Hi everyone, my name is Onwukanjo and welcome to my final presentation. Okay, quickly I'll be running through a little bit introduction about myself and my mentor, an overview of the mentorship goals, my achievements. I'm going to talk about polycephaly and how polycephaly works, and I'm also going to talk about polycephaly's architecture, images of polycephaly viewed, and key learnings. And I'm going to talk about my favorite part of the mentorship and my advice to other mentees. So quickly, my name is Innocent. Like I told you guys, I am a student of the University of UU and I studied computer engineering. I've been practicing DevOps for 3 years, and I first came to know about the mainframe in the master the mainframe context. This is me. So this is my mentor, Mr. Jerry Argentine. He has over 35 years of this series experience with Cincinnati, Ohio. Now, the overview of the mentorship is to build an interface to ZOS which will mimic ZOS's source control systems using as much open source as possible and allow a developer to just develop code. So we were able to achieve the understanding of polycephaly because this was my mentor's first time and my first time as well to be mentored in such a program, and it was an awesome experience. I got to learn Groovy, and I also got to build the polycephaly CI/CD pipeline. Polycephaly actually means a condition of having more than one head, but in this case, it is called polycephaly because it marries two different development lifecycle methodologies, that's the distributed and the ZOS, and it's been developed by my mentor for over 6 years now. So polycephaly adopts the agile approach of software development, and how polycephaly actually does this is it uses the Java and the Groovy codes and compiles sample COBOL code. Now, all this work is done by the Jenkins slave on the ZOS. So the Jenkins slave does the bulk of the work. It goes to the Git source control system and it pulls out the application in the Git server and builds it on the ZOS. So polycephaly actually also has the ability to detect the type of application being built, if it's Java or Groovy or COBOL. It uses these functions like build, list, and some other important functions. Because of time, I wouldn't really highlight all of them. Okay, so this is the workflow. As you can see, it starts from the build.groovy and executes up to the point where it builds the application and then returns an email to the developer. So these are the images of what we worked on. This actually is a sample build for the month of August. The one of July and June were not captured. but this is the build, and these are the failures we've encountered. One of the errors, this was coming from the build tools.groovy file, and we're able to rectify this. And there's another one coming from the Jenkins file. And then we were able to have a successful build on the 26th of August. Although it's a successful build, we also have some more work to do on the test, deploy, and DBB clean stages. So I'm still working on that with my mentor, and with further communications, we look at building and successfully implementing these stages. The key learnings that I learned, the mainframe, DevOps on the mainframe. I also learned how to write a Groovy language. I learned about the polycephaly application. My favorite part of the mentorship was on the mentee Slack channel and the communication between my mentees, other mentees, and my mentor. It was fun. I reach out to my mentor and he always responds. And my advice to other mentees is that you should always try to reach out to your mentors. Whatever the situation you find yourself, try to reach out, because that was actually the secret to my success in this mentorship. So when you reach out to your mentor, he or she gets to attend or know where your problem is coming from. Okay, so this will be the end of my presentation. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Hi, my name is Glenz. I'm a senior at Robert Morris University, and I'm a mentee for the Open Mainframe Education Project. What is the project about? To put it briefly, the Open Mainframe Education Project seeks to construct an open source platform of mainframe educational content, showing the value of mainframe education. We want to create a place where anyone of any background or skill level can learn about the mainframe and its technologies from the ground up. My role as a mentee. During my time with the project, I documented my review of educational content for 2 programs, the IBM ZOS Mainframe Practitioner courses and the Master of Mainframe levels. I also spoke as a panelist on the OMP discussion panel for the Share Virtual Experience, as well as for the OMP Summit and DevOps. And I also collaborated on new video content guidelines and things to keep in mind when creating video content for the program. What was my experience like? Coming from a student's perspective, it was really refreshing to work on a project with a group of people with much more experience who showed passion in this project's vision, as opposed to a blend of students at a college who don't really care about what they're doing. Working on a project that will actually help others down the road really helped motivate me, as well as the fact that my outlook on the state of education today was valued and used for the purposes of this project. What challenges did I encounter? The work environment was much more open rather than on a set of rails like in college, which took some getting used to. Bridging the technical skill gap for my review of the training courses was probably the most difficult, as there were many times I got roadblocked. Making presentations with experts was a little nerve-wracking due to my inexperience. And as for my feedback on the courses, thinking from the mindset of multiple students of different varying skill levels was a little difficult as well. My quick thoughts on the courses. Overall, I found the mainframe courses to be the more enjoyable introduction to the mainframe. MTM has students using the Open Mainframe project's own Zoe Explorer via VS Code, while the IBM ZOS courses use a ZOS terminal via virtual machine. MTM uses less media but has far superior guides for each assignment. IBM ZOS uses videos that oftentimes cover too much material in one sitting, possibly overwhelming students. MTM started to lose me a little bit through level 3 where it got code heavy, but I still believe it to be the superior learning experience between the two. How's my perception of the IT industry changed? The goal of this project itself has shown me that there's a fair amount of disconnect between companies who need fresh talent and students who want to learn but have nowhere to begin. College only seems to teach students how to learn and not what to learn, and even that can sometimes be debated. There are so many throwaway courses I've taken over the years that I would gladly sacrifice to fully cover just some of the topics I came across in my reviews for this project. The barrier of entry seems to get higher and higher for students, and companies want more and more experience. So the question remains, where are students supposed to get this experience? My takeaways from the project. Watching everyone on the core team made me see that a lot goes into these types of projects, and it's not all about development and maintenance. That being said, it feels like there are a lot more branching avenues within IT-oriented organizations that our colleges aren't even making us aware of, especially within global organizations like IBM or Broadcom. Finally, seeing the difference between working on a ZOS terminal and the Zoe Explorer has shown me that mainframe technology is definitely starting to modernize. And I think this push for modernization is what's going to be key in bringing in a new generation of mainframers. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for letting me being a part of this project.